guys, how's it going? It's a beautiful afternoon, about 68 degrees outside, blue sky, a little bit of clouds, perfect planting weather. And Erin and I got our video projects done this morning. We were super productive, so now I have a couple of hours to do some planting before we have to leave. So yesterday I was able to be in the room to welcome my newest nephew, Thomas Michael, into the world, and it was just an amazing experience to be present at something like that. It was a huge perspective changer, and it just makes you realize how beautiful life is. So today I feel like I'm floating. It's just so happy. Anyway, we're gonna go over and see him tonight. But let me show you what I'm working on. Okay, so this is the area right here. Let me back up a little bit. We have showed you in several garden tours that we have a lot of privet hedging. So see that yucky looking privet hedging? It's just really old. I think that those privets have been in here for 30 plus years and they have just run their life cycle, and it's time for new stuff. So as we're able to get a hold of boxwoods and as we have time, we're gonna kind of start ripping privets out and we're gonna start replacing with boxwoods, because I don't have anything necessarily against privets. I would just rather have some evergreens, because I don't want to be dealing with, one, all the extra leaves, and I would rather have something that looks really pretty still in the winter time. This is the first section. When we cut the privets down, there's all of these edgers. We're finding these everywhere in the garden. So I'm gonna take all of those away, I think, and then I'm gonna be putting 4 boxwoods in. Let's go get the boxwoods. Oh no, it looks like Erin has had the pruners out. Excellent. Look at all those branches down. Branch there. This needed to be pruned up. This is an old lilac and it was kind of hitting our car. It's really pretty narrow right here, so that's good. But I can already tell right here he's gonna have to do some cleanup. Okay, all the branches. Look at what he did. He left like big stumps. I think I'm gonna have to have him watch a tree pruning video again. All right, so here are the boxwoods. I've got 4 5-gallon ones on this cart. So these are called Winter Gem. I have been using Sprinter boxwoods lately. I just can't get a hold of any big ones right now, and that kind of happens a little later on in the season. It gets harder to locate larger evergreens, especially boxwoods. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Winter Gems in this little area, and then hopefully by the time we're ready to rip out more privets, I'll be able to get a hold of some Sprinters. But these look really, really nice. Nice and glossy. Definitely better than the hole that's there right now. I saw you pruned.
I did.
Are you proud of yourself?
I am kind of proud of myself.
Do you think you did a good job?
I think so.
Did you leave a bunch of stumps all over on the tree?
No.
Do you need to go get the pruning saw and finish up your job?
No.
Yes. Yes. Go look at it, Erin. It's like you have not learned anything but at all from our videos.
I did a great job. I like these.
I know. Those are looking snappy. Anyway, I think what I might do, so I'm not a huge fan of edgers, but I think what I might do until these fill in a little bit more, it does create some definition. So I will admit that. So I might like tighten it up a little bit and bring them in just a skosh so that it does create a little bit of definition for now. Yes?
I agree.
Yes.
I agree wholeheartedly.
What I like to hear.
Okay, I'm gonna get back to work.
Okay. All right, so there it is, all done. I love how it looks. So nice and green and alive. And then, like I said, I'll leave these for now just until these grow in and make an actual hedge, because they do help define this space a little bit, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. So the last thing I really need to do in this spot is to mulch, but I don't have any. I'm gonna have to go down to the garden center tomorrow and pick some up. I actually paid for 10 bags yesterday and I forgot to grab them. So now I'm gonna move on to some smaller planting projects. And this is what I threw in the hole of each one of the boxwoods. This is a Biotone Starter Plus. It's just a starter fertilizer, and it works really well. How's that for beautiful? These are marooned coleus and then Harmony White stock. Beautiful, beautiful contrast. So just a couple of days ago, my mom messaged me and said that I needed to come down to the garden center because she had something for me. So I ran down there and she ordered me an entire flat of stock. And this stuff, you guys, it has that really kind of clovey, kind of holiday almost smell, and I could smell her. She had planted a huge container out at my parents' house and I could smell it right when I entered their yard, and I told her it was just so beautiful and it smelled so good, so she decided to order me a whole flat as a present. How sweet is that? She knows the way to my heart. That's what I like to see. All right, so these plants right here are gonna go in this spot. So you might remember a video where I planted 3 aronia. There's one there. The shadows are really bad, you guys, right now, sorry. Right here, and then there's one right there. And since then, it's kind of filled in a little bit. There is some hardy geraniums. There are some hardy geraniums and some echinacea, it looks like. So what I want to do, because what I did was I dug out a few red flower carpet roses in this area, because I'm not a huge fan of red colored blooms in my garden, but I do miss a red element, and I did not explain myself very well. And what I meant was I don't prefer red blooms, but I love red foliage. So what I'm going to do is plant some of the maroon coleus, and then in the front of that I'll plant some of the white stock. So I think it's going to be a really, really pretty look, but I've got to get the hose out of here first. So I think that that will look really nice. There are 2, 4, 6, 7 coleus around in here. So there's 9 delphiniums right here, and then a great big old-fashioned rose. It's kind of a pale pink. And then I think that these geraniums bloom purple. Not sure about that echinacea. We'll have to see what that does. And then there's Japanese anemones right here that are a pink, and they're really pretty. And there are some iris, tradescantia in here, and a boxwood, just to give you an idea. Oh, and the crappy privet hedge. See, this is one that needs to really come out really badly. Okay, so now I plant. Well, I pretty much love it. It is so gorgeous. Look at that, all the stock in there. That's the whole flat right there. They were in 4 packs, so I was able to separate them out. And they're probably, I don't know, like 4 inches apart. So they should fill in really nicely. And then the coleus right in the back. Some are in the shade and some are in a little more sun, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. So the most important part to me about planting annuals is just to go for it in terms of the amount you use. You guys know that I like to use a lot of flowers all in one little small space. It just looks so much better. It's kind of instant impact. They don't need tons of space to grow because you guys, we are enjoying them for like 3-4 months and then we're pulling them out. When, you know, when the frost comes in fall, they die. So it's not like something that you would want to make sure you have your spacing correct, like with perennials, shrubs, trees, those kinds of things. It's important not to overplant, but annuals just go to town. I think I have time for one more project before we have to head out. All right, so it is time to change these front containers up. So the pansies still look really good, so I'm going to take these out and plant them out in the landscape somewhere in the shady spot. But I want to get them switched over for summer. I have the plants, and it's going to start getting really hot here this week. It's supposed to get 88 is the high in the next week, so I need to start transitioning spring stuff out because I really don't want the pots to look stressed ever. So I'll get these pansies out and get them in a shadier spot than these are usually in, because these pots just now started to get shaded and it's after 5. So I think it'll be best just to get them out and get these things in. So I'm going to be planting these gorgeous lavender topiaries. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, I love them. And then I'm going to underplant them each with 3 coral geraniums, like salmon or coral, I can't remember what they call it. Let me look. These are a survivor salmon zonal geranium. And then for my spiller, I'm going to have some creeping jenny. So it's going to be fairly simple, but I think lots of color. So I'm going to get these cleaned out and then we'll get to planting. these turned out so pretty. Pretty simple. So we've got the lavender topiary, then we've got 3 geraniums underneath, and then 1 6-pack per pot of creeping Jenny. So this will fill in and be my nice kind of dramatic spiller. Let me back up and give you kind of the full view here. So these urns are at the base of our main entry, which is actually an entry we never use. It's the front door to the old part of the house, the formal entryway anyway. I bet you guys can tell what colors are my favorite by now. Love the lavenders, coral, any kind of soft yellow, all shades of green, whites. All right, so now I think I have enough time to get all these things watered, and then we've got to head out. So I'm gonna end the video here. There are a couple other things I want to get planted, so I will pick the video back up tomorrow. We're getting the Weir out, you guys. That big concrete Weir is coming out today. Look at this. He thinks it weighs about 10,000 pounds. It's huge. Here's the hole. He kind of filled it back in a little bit. This is the future home of my vegetable garden. So he has to come back on Monday because the machine, whatever kind of equipment he was driving, wasn't big enough to break this up. So he's gonna bring a wrecking ball and a jackhammer on Monday to break that up in pieces and get it out of here. And then he's also taking this little concrete pad. So Aaron's about ready to cut all of the fence section down. The concrete pad will go, and then the next step will be to have this telephone, or I guess it's not telephone, electrical pole taken down, because all these lines are going underground. It's crazy how quick these guys are. They come in their big equipment and they just get to work, and within an hour they've got all of this stuff tore out of the ground, and it's just amazing to me. They really know what they're doing. So anyway, this area should be ready to go, and I should be able to put raised beds in by the first week of June. I'm so excited. I'm gonna get a little bit of a late start with my vegetable garden, but that's okay, way it goes. So let me show you the last thing I wanted to get planted yesterday that I didn't have time to do. So this is the front of our house where I got those containers done yesterday, and today I want to plant this Japanese maple. This is an absolutely gorgeous plant. Look at the leaves. And that is what it is. I'm not gonna even attempt to pronounce that name, but it's beautiful. It is a zone 5, grows 15 feet tall by 12 feet wide, and only grows 6 to 12 inches per year. So it'll be easy to control the size of. I don't mind it getting 15 feet tall right here because I've got the space. And then I am gonna make sure to plant it. I think it's about, I don't know, that's probably 7 feet, maybe a little more from the corner. And then we are planning on moving this pathway out a little bit, and we're gonna widen it. So I think in the end it'll be perfect, like the perfect size for this area. Now I gotta figure out how to get it out of this box. There's metal straps, and this is wood, and it looks like it's rooted in really, really well. So I have bolt cutters and my pruning saw. Here we go. So there it is, all planted, and I think it looks great. I really like the shape of it. It was really important to me to have a tree in this spot that I could still see out the window. So the sun room is right up here, and I didn't want anything to really block the view. I don't mind there being some airy branches there, but nothing really dense. And this is something else I'm going to be planting. This is a Kinpo Japanese white pine. Great small growing evergreen. They grow about 3 feet tall, 2 feet wide. so it won't take up very much space here, but I'm not going to plant that one until I have everything else in this bed. I know what I'm going to be putting in, but that is a separate video. Really excited, looking forward to that, but I don't really want to accidentally place this in the wrong spot. So if I leave it in its can for just a couple days, then I can kind of move it around a little bit. I think that both the evergreen and the Japanese maple will be really happy in this spot because it gets a good block of morning sun, which will keep the evergreen happy, and it'll keep the Japanese maple colored up nicely, but it's also protected from the scorching afternoon sun, which tends to burn Japanese maples in my area. So I think it's ideal. I think it's gonna be a great location for it. The other thing I wanted to mention was the fertilizer I used. So I used some Hollytone, which is a great acid-based fertilizer for acid-loving plants like Japanese maples, hydrangeas, blueberries, things like that. We have really alkaline soil. So if you already have acidic soil, you could use something like tree tone, but since we're alkaline here, I always like to use Hollytone on things like that and all evergreens. Seems to keep them really happy. So that's what I use, and that's what I'll probably continue to use on that Japanese maple. So I think that that is it for this video. That was just something I really wanted to plant yesterday and didn't have time to do. So I'm gonna spend some time waiting tonight. Should be a nice evening out here in the garden. It's like high 60s again today and just slightly breezy. So I'm gonna really enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.